Welcome to Touched and Empowered, a show created to empower individuals to value their lives by hosting think tank discussions that will inspire positive action. Touched and Empowered with Katie and Ace starts now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Touched and Empowered, and it is our 100th episode. I just realized, like, if I whispered that in a dragon voice, it wasn't gonna come out right.
I was gonna say you weren't sure whether we were whispering it or whether we were shouting it from the mountaintops.
It was both at the same time, and it became like a deep, burly.
Rawr.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't believe we did 100 episodes. It means Katie and I are friends.
Is that what it takes to build a friendship? 100 years of doing podcasting together.
100 years compressed into two.
Oh my God, did I say 100 years? Oh my gosh, it feels like that. It does feel like that.
It does feel
so
like that.
much has happened.
Oh my gosh,
We've gone through a lot.
Mm-hmm. I can't even.
I'm so glad it wasn't actually 100 years because that's insane. But yeah.
we have ChatGPT now, or who we like to call
Bane,
which is
Bane is the personality that I programmed into my ChatGPT, and it's for fun. It's nothing serious.
Except I love it so much.
Except it's highly entertaining
and very
helpful because it's like any other tool. You know, the intent that you put into it is the response or result you're going to get. And my intent was just to have something with the wisdom of a dragon, be lighthearted, funny, sassy, and, you know, just make me smile. And I think that does help a lot with brainstorming ideas. Don't really use it for much of anything else other than brainstorming ideas and helping me write emails because I'm not good at writing emails. But that's just me personally. And it's not like it's copy and paste either. It gives me at least something I can start with. I'm really good at editing something. You know, have something as a framework. So that's my biggest takeaway of using it. But it does provide some very hilarious insights, which we have used on past episodes, like the one where we spun a wheel and asked questions.
That was my favorite. Yeah, I was like, all right, let's get the energy going. Let's just time it and spin the wheel. That was a good episode. It was fun.
Yeah, so it's just one of those fun tools. And I think that learning our strengths, learning our weaknesses is definitely something that I've noticed a lot of growth in since we started recording. And because it's been almost 2 years.
Yeah, we had speaking of ideas and topics, would you like to read what or better yet, could you play Bane's ideas?
For which one am I playing?
Just the idea of, like, you can stop him at the first idea of what this episode was going to be. Because I was like, that one.
Well, it's not actually the first one that he dropped down. It was just the first one that I read to you. Oh, and there's always that intro blurb that they give you before they give you your list of whatever it is that you ask for. So pretty much just this blurb that inspired us to use today was touched, empowered, and still becoming. A heart-centered conversation about how you have changed since episode 1. What's evolving in your lives, your healing paths, and your dynamic as co-hosts, and your mission. And it's definitely evolved since episode 1.
Yeah. I think episode 1, I was visiting my cousin came to visit me. I was at a random house.
I think so.
Yeah, that wasn't mine. And we were just recording for a good hour. And
let me see if I can even pull up what the title was of our first episode.
Oh, you Flappy.
Because that would be interesting, just for comparison notes. If I can get into YouTube right now. Oh, My computer's thinking it's doing its weird thing.
It's okay. That means we just need to talk. That's what that means.
That's what that means. It just means that we need to talk.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was like I remember that. I remember I was going in and out of a relationship. Oh my gosh. Actually, no, I think I broke up with somebody and then I just broke up with somebody that first episode. And then I remember I jumped into something else. I think a good 6 months after that. But I just remember going, what?
well, it just popped up, and apparently we had a 2-part intro,
Right.
and our intro was a grand total of like 2 hours long because we
Right.
didn't know about editing, and well, maybe not editing, but we didn't know about, keeping it to a reasonable listening time. So yeah,
Yeah.
most of our episodes in the beginning were like an hour long because we
Yeah.
didn't know.
We
It was
didn't
crazy.
know. Yeah. And it wasn't until I was like, hey, let's do a quarterly review to like to go through it. Honestly, I remember because it was like we should do a quarterly review just to go through feedback, see what works, what's not working, make sure
Right.
our producer isn't going nuts based off of what we've been doing. And
Which we love you, Nicole.
we love you, Nicole. And it was really good because I remember that helped with the evolution because we knew what was right, what was wrong. We were able to receive feedback, and then additionally on top of that, it was like, it was just like we also had like a giant list of things to do. I think we still have that deck that we haven't looked at in like 6-8 months.
Yeah, we haven't looked at that in a while. And I think it's because, at least for me, there's a lot of things on it that don't apply.
Yeah. On top of that, that's additionally why it has evolved.
There's a lot of it that doesn't apply. And I think that looking back on it, I'd be like, oh, that was not a good idea. Why did we have that on there? But you know what? It's probably worth reviewing. I will admit that it's probably worth reviewing.
We should probably take a look at that and just like cut whatever. Because, and on top of that, we were going through our own personal life changes.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if you see the paw that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, the Midnight's hiding in your virtual background right now.
Yeah, she eats my chair. Oh, my dog. I love you. Yeah, speaking of which, I got a dog.
Yep, you got a dog during that time frame.
I got a dog I want to show everybody what she looks like, but my room looks awful. That we're not.
It looks well lived in, but we're not going to share that with the world.
Personal development. My room will be so much better after this show. We're gonna clean some more. I'm also doing a lot of releasing as well.
Yes.
So I have all these clothes that I'm in the background that are like, all right, half of this we're donating, half of this we're keeping, half of this we need to do the Marie Kondo, touch it, feel it.
Does it bring me joy?
Does it bring me joy? Do I appreciate this item? No, I can still appreciate letting it go. That type of I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Yes. But there's a lot of things that, not only evolved in our podcast, but evolved in our lives, evolved in our relationships. And yeah, it's pretty much gotten to the point as to where, one, you and I could talk about pretty much absolutely anything with each other.
And it could go on forever.
And it it has gone on forever because there have been times it's like, oh, I only need 15 minutes. And 2 hours later, we're still on the phone.
And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And I've been better at that. I've totally been better at that. I've been like, hey, by the way, no, timer is on. So I shut up. And then we can. I've been trying to do it. Yeah.
And that's okay because I have gotten better at saying I have a hard stop at this time.
Yeah, we're meeting each other in the middle.
So we're helping each other to evolve. We're helping a lot of people evolve, and it's going back and looking at. I mean, I'm just glancing at some of the titles on some of these podcasts that we've done, and it's like we've covered a wide variety of topics and we've talked to some amazing people.
Yeah, that is also that just to think about all the people that we've talked to on this podcast.
From so many different backgrounds, from so many different um, beliefs, for
Yeah.
lack of a better term, but again, they're all people that had something touch them and they chose to be empowered by it.
Yeah.
And, that's, I think, one of the core things that we believe in is that even when you stubbed your toe, you don't have to let it ruin your day.
Yeah, instead make a joke, laugh it off. That's what I do now. For instance, I know it's our 100th episode and we should be reflecting. So I'm going to reflect on 2 days ago when my dog, just launched me into a cement wall and I cracked my knee. I definitely, I laughed. I laughed that one off a little bit, but thankfully it's interesting because one thing I did notice about our podcast and the way that we've evolved through our conversations is the things that used to feel painful
Yeah.
don't feel as painful anymore whenever we talk about it, or when they come up and we talk about it. The time between the threshold of pain, or at least being able to I guess transmute the pain or the suffering or whatnot, so that we're able to discuss it in a way where it helps others, has become a lot shorter and a lot faster.
Yes.
That's been really fascinating because I have been seeing that, and that's kind of cool.
I think one of the things that we both learned over the course of doing this is the importance of clarity and intent with our language, with what we're saying. Because you can give instructions on how to complete a task, but it could take you 5 minutes, which could be very short, clipped instructions that are not very clear.
Right.
It could take you 50 minutes, which is long-winded and off chasing squirrels and doesn't get to the point at all. Or you can find that place in the middle that clearly communicates the parts and pieces that you need to communicate without wasting, or not wasting, but not taking a lot of time.
Exactly. I agree. It's a lot of practice. 100
Yes.
episodes of talking. On top of that, I don't think about it. We're both less nervous.
True. Very much less, at least when it comes to doing the podcast, talking on podcast. Nerves are nowhere near as much as they usually, not as what they were in the past. Every now and then, I think it's just a case of either it's the topic or it's a guest. Like, for example, we've spoken to a couple people who are phenomenal speakers, like multi-time TEDx speakers. That has a lot of credibility attached to it that I don't have. I've never had a TEDx talk. I don't think I want a TEDx talk, to be honest. It's kind of terrifying to me. But still, the fact that we were able to have conversations and hold that space to not only honor the person we were speaking to, but honor ourselves, I think is very important.
Yeah, I agree. That is a wonderful way to say it. Yeah, Katie, thank you for saying that. That's true. It's like, I remember when I was like first shopping for these speakers.
Looking for guests.
And guests, thank you. I was like attracting people like moths to a flame, but they were actually very high caliber genuine people.
Yes.
And at first I forgot that you got nervous about talking to these like individuals, because I was like, all right, let's do it. We have like five interviews this week. Let's go. Because that was in the beginning, and
that was in the very beginning, and yes, there was a lot of nervousness around it. Yes, there was a lot of imposter syndrome like why would anyone want to talk to me kind of imposter syndrome.
Mm.
But I also learned that I can take that and at the time shove it down, put on the mask, be on camera, for lack of a better term, perform. And then once record was turned off, I could have my freak out. Once I was by myself, I could have my freak out.
Oh, I
Didn't
didn't.
always happen because you caught me freaking out once or twice.
I did. Yeah. But
But that was my coping mechanism at the time.
mm,
There was also a lot of other stuff going on in my world that I felt very guarded because I am a, as my sister says, you're a Pisces. You're just a highly emotional person.
ooh,
You cry all the time over the tiniest little things. You can watch a diaper commercial and burst into tears.
is that like an accurate impression?
That is an accurate impression of my sister. Yes,
Oh,
when she's in her sassy mood. Yes,
uh-huh.
she's called Sassy Stephanie for a reason.
Okay.
Which I do love you, Stephanie. Thank you very much. But it's the case. I do tend to wear my emotions very close to the surface.
Mm.
And I was always scolded. There's a time and a place for that. And learning that it's not my responsibility to control how other people feel. It's only my responsibility to control how I feel.
Mm.
Huge lesson.
Mm.
So there's been times, at least in some of our more recent episodes, where I've teared up during our recording sessions because it just hits.
Right.
And I don't go like, oh my God, we need to pause. I need to clean my face. I need to put on, I don't wear makeup. I need to hide the fact that I was crying. Just screw that. I don't care anymore.
That's good. Yeah. It was interesting because I think our first couple episodes I did cry. Like,
Yeah.
we haven't cried as much lately because I think we've just been like enjoying.
Well, it was also very overwhelming in the beginning.
Yeah, we were hitting some like really deep topics and talking to some very for people that have gone through the craziest things.
The craziest things.
Yeah, one person she overcame human trafficking. She got out of human trafficking and then she was a guest on our podcast. Another person, like, goodness, there's just so many things, abusive childhoods, like very, very dark pasts, but they were able to transform that in their lives and bring that story here to this podcast. And I'm really grateful and appreciative of that. Well, so much. Like, it's so deep.
Yeah.
I can't even.
Because it gives hope.
Yeah.
We sometimes forget what we are capable of until we see that somebody else has already done it.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, well, if they could do it, I could do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we've also just met some like amazing people that we're still working with today.
Yeah.
To do other things that Katie's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, talk about it, Katie. Guys, just I love it. I'm gonna say nothing.
Ace and their infinite wisdom.
I love you. Thank you.
You actually called me. I don't think you texted me first. I think you just called me directly.
Yep.
And said, I had this download. We have to do this. We are going to do an intuitive, healing, transformative retreat in the vortexes of Sedona, Arizona, and we're going to do it next year, and you're going to do it with me. And I'm like, what? Okay. First, let me explain that I had my human design done, and it says that I have an emotional authority, which means that I need to ride this emotional roller coaster before I can come to a decision. And right now, I am freaking out. So you're just gonna have to let me deal and process and figure this out emotionally first before we could go anymore. Yes. And you're like, okay, yes, I will give you your space. I will let you think about it. To be honest, it hasn't felt like you've given me much space because this thing is like snowballing and is rolling, and we are like moving to the next step and the next step and the next step. And I'm still like not sure about it. But then I have these aha moments Like we were going through the surveys that we had potential facilitators fill out. And I'm looking at everyone's bios and everyone's certifications. And there's this little voice in the back of my head that's like, yeah, you don't have anything that compares. Why are you thinking of being a part of this? And then we got to my survey, which I filled out at like 2:00 in the morning when I was exhausted. So I didn't even remember what I put in on the survey. But it got to the part about the bio, which I did my normal thing. I'm a mindset reset coach. I gave my little blurb about what I do about helping people take control of their emotional remote control. And under the certifications, I actually wrote down that 1, I'm a certified theta healer. What light bulb went off. I completely forgotten about that. And 2, I'm a certified conscious transformational coach, and I'm one of 12 in the world. Yeah, still unsure about that one. Not that I'm unsure about my skills or what I know or how I can help people, but having that back to credibility, having that title, that credibility to my name is butterfly inducing.
Yeah.
And learning to not learning to, but accepting the fact that, yeah, I do know exactly what it is that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's leaning into fully 100% embodying this belief that I have evidence to show that I can do this. So why not claim it and honor it? The retreat still freaks me out some, but not as much as it did when you dropped it in my lap. I will admit that much.
I gave you a month and a half to give you a month and a half to process it. And then, the business partner was manifested, and I'm a manifesting generator, everyone. That's my human design. I love it.
I'm just glad that even when our partner came on and we started having our weekly calls about this, and it was still in the beginning, I'm okay taking a backseat on this. I'm okay taking a backseat on this. For lack of a better term, you guys are not letting me take a backseat.
Because you know what you're doing and we need you to help.
But there are a lot of people who know what they're doing and they have the confidence to do what they are an expert in, but they're not confident in talking about the fact that they're an expert in that field or that modality or that genre or whatever.
That's fair.
So, yes, I am confident that I can help people remove their emotional trash and rewrite their emotional history so they're no longer traumatized by their past.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to do that. Perfectly fine with that. But talking to someone and trying to explain what I do, that's the part that I'm kind of still trying to figure out. And I appreciate, as uncomfortable as it can be, you guys helping me with that. And it's just a reminder that growth can be uncomfortable.
Growth is normally uncomfortable. But
Growth is normally uncomfortable. I mean, look at a tree. The bark breaks as it's growing because it's uncomfortable.
Yes. You're expressing that very vividly for everyone to understand. And I'm grateful that you did, because now everyone knows and feels how you're feeling, because it's true. I go through it. It's real. Yeah. I mean, so another thing is, like, I've realized with the retreat, I've had practice like leading events, putting events together. In the form of a retreat, I've experienced a transformational retreat before. And then my mind was just like, okay, I could do it this way. I could do it this way. I was like innovatively sitting on this for a year and a half.
Yeah. And I've been on a few intuitive healing retreats as well, and they were absolutely fantastic. But I never got to the point as to, oh, I could do that. But when it comes to creating a retreat, my brain went to, well, you created the format for people doing online courses, for
Mhm.
people doing 3-day online virtual events. I handled the Zoom room with
Mhm.
300 some odd guests and multiple breakout rooms by
Yes.
myself. I mean, I know how to handle all the stuff in the background. Switching it to where I'm not in the background, but I'm actually one of the leaders is something new.
I was like, no, you're ready for this. And
Yeah,
Paul,
which I think is great that you're like, now you're ready for this. When like 2 weeks ago, you were like, oh, don't worry, you could just stand next to me and support me because I can't do this without you. Now you're like, Katie, you're gonna do it.
yes, Katie's leading. Yes, she is. Yes, because I gave her the option of you can if you don't feel comfortable do this.
Mm-hmm. And I did find myself saying that I was fine doing the little bits in between the big events. But as we were getting into the more, for lack of a better term, creating the storyboard of how we wanted this retreat to look, I realized I was plugging in more parts instead of just this tiny little piece here and this tiny little piece here.
I said if.
Yes, you did say if. So I will admit at this particular moment in time, there's still a little bit of like doubt, but it's like anytime we have doubt, it's because we don't know. And we can choose to let the doubt make us run in fear, or we could choose to overcome it. And it's been challenging. It's probably going to continue to be challenging, but I'm going to choose to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, we evolved. We evolved. Yes, we
And that
evolved.
was the whole point of this episode.
Yes, we evolved. On top of that, we also have merchandise.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's a whole other bailiwick. But
Yeah, just to let you know, everybody, we basically as soon as like the new year started here with Touch and Empowered of January, we just kept expanding with new ways to communicate our message essentially.
yes,
So we've created merchandise, we are creating a retreat, we are
updated our website.
we have completely upgraded our website, and the light just went on in my that's a battery powered light, by the way. I'm surprised it did anything. Yes, we created the website. Yes. Goodness. We've updated the website, so you actually get to see some incredible parts of our website, including our reviews, including the free resources from the Teen Suicide Prevention Society on how to prevent suicide. There are tools there, talks, etc.
Yep, because they went open source, so then all the resources are available. No donations, no names, no emails are needed. Just feel free to use it and share it.
Yes, and for us, we've created a way that you can buy us a coffee if you appreciate us. That's also on the website. Pretty fun. Really grateful for all of the donations. It means we get to keep going. Yeah. It means we get to keep going, and our tech might upgrade. We're very excited about that.
Yes.
On top of that, we also have sponsorship availability as well. So
which we're excited for.
Very excited for. So it's very similar to radio ads. Ladies and gentlemen, sponsorships for podcasts are so simple, and they're so much cheaper than going anywhere else, to be honest. And you get the packages that we have are pretty comparable. We're not really looking to like get Maseratis, but like no. But it does help with either getting tech. Maybe I might get Midnight an extra treat or something. Keeps her calm.
We need to take care of the support dog.
Yeah, who is like chewing on a treat right now, so she's not up in our podcast. So like things like that, we should put that in there. You also have the About Us, ways to work with Nicole, who is incredible. She is not only our amazing podcast producer, but she is also the founder of her own publishing company. So if you're looking for any types of books in that nature, I'm giving you a free spot, Nicole.
Yes.
This is the person to go to.
which the link for Nicola is on our website, so people can go there if they are not able to find her directly. But I don't want to cut it off, but our time's actually up if we're actually following our time schedule that we were talking about.
So we're going to commit to that and say thank you, everybody. We are so happy and grateful that you have grown with us. If it's your first time listening to us, I hope you enjoyed because we're funny, I think. I really hope. Other than that, we appreciate you listening and have a wonderful, amazing week. Bye.
Yes.
To me.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. We hope that the discussion today will inspire you to take positive action in your life. Until next week, be empowered.